Hi, welcome to Not TV Canada at I Am Just 10 YouTube channel. I am Just 10 and it is January 5th, 2025. Happy New Year, new month, new challenges. It's sunny out. I'm going out because there's been so much rain. It's like a record breaking amount of rain for us in Vancouver for this century. And I'm like, where's the boats and the paddles? Because we're like getting there. So I'm taking advantage of this day of drying up out there. But I'm also doing it because all this knitting stuff is driving my brain crazy. I am on a partial vacation from my actual day job work with Canucks Autism, dealing with the autistic kids in the skate program and the swim program, and all the sub shifts that I do. And so I was trying to catch up on the knitting stuff that I'm learning how to do and the projects I have a list of requests for. Most of it was supposed to be done in time for the Christmas holiday. And all of this started because I was trying to make myself a pair of slippers or slipper socks. Because my daughter bought me some I loved. I don't know where they are, for Christmas last year when she was visiting. And I live in those. And then I had some of my own that were older from that before that. But there's just something about buying that kind of stuff from dollar stores or from mall shops that it's not the same grade or quality or comfort as when you make your own or have it made for you. So I decided I'm going to challenge myself to learn how to do that for myself. Because as much as I like to wear regular slippers, it's nice to have a break from that option. And because of the nightmare of what I've been going through in this apartment for 3 years, I cannot walk barefoot in this place. I will not do it. Or use my socks because I buy lots of socks that are new constantly. I like new things of certain kinds of stuff. And so you just can't afford to waste that. So today what's happened, I'll flip the camera over, is I finally finished the slipper sock on order as gifts that are late for my mom and one of my friends that are out east in Burlington, Ontario, and out in Bristol, Quebec, where there is cold and snow. And at 66 rows, which the original pattern called for, it wasn't quite good enough for me. It's too close to the white line there. So I went 70 because after you knit together the bottom part, the toe, it reduces. And then when you fix the curl at the top, it will not be, necessarily good enough for a really tall boot for somebody, but it should be good enough for my mom's frame, and hopefully the size of her boot. So she could just wear that in and out of her house and in and out of her boot and just be cozy tozy all day long. My friend in Gatineau, Quebec, well, she's further out. She's out in the boonies, so she might need a longer set. But my problem is, unless you get the same dye lot, you're not going to get the exact same match of socks. And so it's just not nice to give people something you've made from hand that doesn't look the same like these two. And the last one I had bought, lo and behold, I discovered doesn't come out the same. And it's so light in color, I can't use this at all to make another one of these. Now, this one has some of the right color, but I have to roll it inside out. I've got to take the other end from inside here, and I got to roll it the other way around once I cut off what I need here to pull together the toe on this. And then I've got to figure out where the lightest color is up there and start knitting this way. And then I have to go find the same dye lot of this darker stuff, and wherever this runs out, be able to start from that color coordinated area with the other one. If it's a little off, it's okay in the little gray sections, but it's pretty important that the white stripes are identifiably the same. And so I was disappointed because when you buy the cheaper stuff and you're just practicing, instead of buying the high-end stuff, the dye lots are not the same, so you're not getting the same results. And then I fell in love with the lighter color of the same stuff, the alpaca look, because the intention in the end is to make the very high-end expensive stuff, but I can't make mistakes and I have to be good at it and ready and know what I need. So I wanted to buy the lighter color so I can make the same thing for my other friend who's in Sweden, who also gets lots of cold weather and snow, but I want to make hers in a lighter color, and I'm going to change the needle size because the sewing knitting at that needle size takes forever. So I'm going to try the bigger one. Now, the size I was supposed to use in the pattern that I watched that caused this nightmare for all of these different variations was supposed to be the 7 in between. But when I did the original pattern in that size of needle, I got these tiny socks. So then I realized this material was not quite right in weight to go with that size of needle to get the adult size, which should look like this. But I figured it out to use the 6, and then I figured out to do 40 in the row, not 27. But with the bigger needles in the size of stitch that I use, then you might be able to get the proper sock you're supposed to get with the nice comfy fit with the 27 stitch on this size. So we'll see what happens. But for today, I need to go looking for another one of these so I can make the matching set to that, and then make another set for somebody in the same darker colors. Find one more of these, because when I went shopping and saw this, I just saw the one, and then I saw the same thing. These would make die-hard cool slipper socks or boot liners. Also just regular slippers. The color's great. And I only found the one. So again, I have to go to different stores, locations to try and find my solutions for today. Because if I don't, and I try to ignore it, it'll drive my brain crazy. So that being said, around my movie work, I'm going to go and finish writing in introduction and put in the page numbers that are being used in the pilot project for You've Got Mail 2. And try to finish the index pages for the Smallville Reunion movie book 1 so I can finally go to print. I'm going to go to a voiceover academy down the street. I'm going to go to a voiceover academy down the street to get them to help with the audio recordings of it at the library where everything is free, and I'll be renting rooms there. And then hopefully I'll be scoring some time on the radio with some of the stuff that I'm trying to get Canada Post to listen to, and to try and find some support backing on a group of people to get involved voluntarily or help me find bursaries and grants to finish making the animation for both these projects, not just Real Person Movie for You've Got Mail 2. I would love, love, love to have Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan play their voices of the original characters in the animated movie of my story, which is called Another Story with Joe Fox and Kathleen Kelly, so that they don't feel so bad, so that in the world nobody feels too bad when I cast new actors, younger people for the parts in the second story. Then it sort of evens out, right? So they get some glory there, because in cartoon you are immortalized at certain age and certain looks, like forever. You don't grow old. So I think that's a really complimentary way of balancing the differences with the work. But I also love the idea of challenging myself to making these movies using all the free access to materials like the rental rooms and the studio programs that are on the computers at the libraries, different libraries in the city, as possible, and provide opportunities for people to come build their portfolio by getting experience, finding work through building off of their recent graduation, or if they're still in school, getting credits through what they do with me and these projects, because I think that'd just be way cool. And building our reputation in this industry as Canadians, and to jump off from this point with new characters that came from somebody who was born and grew up in Canada. So we can say, woohoo, kiss off Hollywood, right? And turn our backs from them. We don't need them, they need us. And then we can launch from there, from here, literally to Europe, and have so much fun with all that stuff that goes over to that side anyway from my work. So I'm super stoked to get this recording section done. And then lastly, I'm just waiting to hear word on whether or not I've been granted and winning the Downtown Eastside Small Arts Grant for this year, so I can finish my 8 Mile 2 publication and recordings, and hopefully get some of that stuff on the radio and reach Marshall Mathers, because he was in the first movie, which was fiction. So my book is sort of true story material to make the second story possible. And then to find out whether or not I'll have enough money to go on and book publish the Smallville reunion movie book one for myself, and then hopefully get enough print on demand orders so I can launch a tour and signings for myself. So it's pretty exciting stuff. But for today, I'm going to go take a break from this mouse chase stuff going on in my apartment. If you're watching my shorts, then you know the nightmare. I've had the door changed so they can't get in and out from the door, and we tried to stuff everything we could find where they were coming in and out. We moved the stove, we moved the fridge, and we couldn't find nothing. So I think what happened is everything got blocked and they got too big, so they could no longer get out of wherever they were coming in and out from. And I think I had put out enough pink poison from their boxes all over the place long enough that all the bigger ones had left and they went off and died somewhere else outside or in the building's walls somewhere. And I think today officially I'm finally done. So I'm going to dance and enjoy and my illustrious all mice are dead day as I go out and get some fresh air and take some me time on a day where it's sunny and not raining, and enjoy myself out there trying to get some stuff done. Then I'll come back and I'll re-clean the place and move stuff around to find more mouse poop, get rid of the pee puddles, the little litter stains, and look for where the poison is in corners to see if I can find any more evidence of more mouse death. But I did try the humane way. I didn't like the sticky traps where they go on the traps and they're alive and they just never come off the traps and they literally just die from fear, anxiety, pee, poo themselves to death, starve to death, dehydrate to death. It's awful. I've seen it happen once and I couldn't get it off. It was nasty. I just don't like the thought of that. So I tried other forms of humane options and they just wouldn't do it. These ones were just like Algernon's children. They were just too smart. And so it just got to the point where they were even breaking the springs on my humane traps. They wouldn't go in for the real food. So they just got to a point where they became accustomed to just eating the poison. So all they would do is eat the pink, fluffy, gummy stuff. So at some point, they're going to eat enough of that stuff that it's going to kill them because that's the point of it. That's what the mouse poison dude said. Well, he's just the poison dude who claims to be doing a good job, or at least the people in the building think that they've hired good people. But if they were good, they would actually be solving the problem. But I refuse to spend any more money than I've already spent. So that being said, I'm going to go out today, take some time off away from this. I'm so glad this part is over. I'm probably going to have to write a story or do some sort of cartoon down the road about it. But my hope for this year is to get into a nicer place, not too far away from here, because of the high rents and the cost of living and the fact that I have another property with renters where I have to pay the utility. I'm just not interested in spending all of my free money on paying for a roof over my head. It's not worth it. I'm not here to put profit into other people's pockets who are asking for too much. So I just stuck it out and stayed put. When I was growing up, people were allowed to claim their rent back on their income tax at the end of the year. And that made for a very nice Christmas. And because the government understood, the federal government at that point, they realized the conditions people were living in and paying rent for, and that they could not attack the issue and could not invest enough money to fix the housing crisis and give people new buildings, better quality stuff, and solve all these problems fast enough. So they made the deal of allowing people their rent money back. Now, there are still circumstances where people can still claim certain portions of their rent, or under certain amounts of money still have rent. Unfortunately, in my circumstance now, that's not possible for me here. But if I was including my rental property on the other side, then it would be possible. But that's way too complicated because that's two different provinces, right? And I'm just living on a balance that I don't want to rock my boat. So I'm going to just leave things the way they are. But they're looking at it. The federal government's talking about the idea of changing it back so people can have their rent money back, because these conditions are unfair, and people shouldn't be paying rent to live like this at all. I don't care how little the rent is. It just shouldn't be right. It's just not humane for us. So that said, you guys have a good day. Enjoy yourself. I still have my tree up. I don't know how long it's going to be up, but it'll be up as long as it's up. Peace out, everyone. Have a good day. And keep your eyes peeled for more info about everything that's coming.